Okay. All right. And welcome to the Destiny podcast, the Destiny Corner podcast. And I'm your host, Dimitri Otto. And I'm joined once again by Protofo, aka John.
Hello.
So it's been a crazy couple weeks. Destiny's been kind of bleh for the last couple weeks because there's just not much to do. So, what games have you been playing lately, John?
Not really Destiny. So
Yeah, right.
I moved house for one. So I didn't have everything set up, but I wasn't in a rush to jump back on. 'Cause like you say, there's not much happening.
Mhm.
So yeah, not really anything. The moving house game basically. So I've still got a few boxes left to unpack. But they're mostly novelty items. So
Yeah.
but saying that I have played Destiny a little bit this week. We'll talk about that in a bit. But not massively.
I
Like
see you're
you.
wearing that Halo hoodie.
Yes. Well,
That's
yeah,
dope.
it's 1 o'clock, half one in the morning, so it's a bit chilly. So,
I'm wearing my Trials of Osiris jersey.
boom.
But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Division 2 lately. The new season just kicked off, and it's actually pretty good. So, and obviously, there's nothing for me to do in Destiny. So, uh, I'm just logging into the daily reset, seeing what's in the Eververse, and that's it because nobody can finish the weekly quest right now because Bungie's holding off for the last week. So after that, there's nothing for me to do. I don't care about doing any of the raids. Like, it's not a bad thing. Like, just because I'm not playing Destiny and you're not playing Destiny, or because there's nothing to do, doesn't necessarily equate to a bad thing. You
Okay.
know, it's just, and it's good to take a break from the game. So,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I've just been playing a lot of Division 2, and the squirrel really wants to hang out, doesn't it? But
Well,
other than
we're gonna
that,
be hammering it, aren't we? In 6 weeks.
oh
So
yeah,
you know, and the content that they made was enough for last week.
hmm
So they've got to stretch it, haven't they? So, they've just started to implement the evacuation of planets, I believe, from what I'm reading.
yeah,
So when I do play more this weekend, I'll be able to catch up on that, which would be good.
yeah,
So, and then next week we've got um, triple um, Iron Banner, so which would
hmm
be good to get some more rewards and have some fun and get frustrated.
yeah. The. So you haven't finished the quest for Traveler's Chosen then?
No, not
Oh,
yet.
it's good. That's fine. I mean, it's not a long quest, but it can definitely take some time. I mean, I did it in one day, but like I also had nothing to do, but it's fine. The quest is perfectly fine if you stretch it out. Like, 'cause it does have some length to it, and it is, let's be honest, most of the exotic quests in the game are kind of boring. So, you'll get it done in like a little while, and it's a fine quest. I
How's the weapon
do.
handle?
Oh, so that's a good question. I think it's a great weapon. Like, it's probably one of the best new exotics they've come out with. It's, especially if you're a warlock, the way it works is perfect for a warlock. Because it's got this thing where every time you get a kill, it gathers a stack of gathering light or something. And I think you finish at 10, and the gun starts to glow with the light. And if you if you have 10, um, it, like, the way the perk works is like it replenishes your abilities or something. If you reload, depending on how much light you have gathered,
Oh,
it'll replenish all your abilities. So if you have like full light, if you have no abilities like charged up, if you reload, all your abilities instantly charge up. Like, it's
sweet.
it's like a very in sync gun. It reminds me of this perk in Division called In Sync, and it's not the same, but it's like that idea of like your gun and your abilities working in sync together, which I really like with exotics. I like it when they do that. It's thinking outside the box. It's not just this gun does this thing. Like it's not like let's be honest, Fatebringer, where the only thing that really made Fatebringer special was it blew up enemies after you shot them in the face. Like, that was cool, but like this is cool because this really does feel exotic,
Sweet.
Plus, it's a very good weapon. It handles really well. The stability's good. It does good damage, and it's one of the better sidearms. So I actually think it's a really good gun. It's really worth the quest, and it looks really cool. Especially, I bought the ornament, and you know what? I regret it because it actually just looks better without it. So if you're listening, just don't buy the ornament because it honestly looks better on its own.
Cool. Well, I'm a
But yeah.
grenade warlock, so having
Oh,
something
perfect
that
for you.
syncs up with me, yeah, I absolutely love that. Especially if I need to be arc for some reason for a bounty or whatnot, then I can just keep my turret going. Having
Mhm.
a turret constantly charged up every 15 seconds would be nice. So
Yeah, yeah, I agree. You know, it's a really good gun. I think it's worth the effort. If you're listening, don't miss out on it. Go for it.
yeah,
It's well worth the effort. And the quest line, is it a typical exotic quest where go do this stuff, go do this stuff? Yes, but the lore you get out of each one is pretty cool. I like that you're evacuating the planets, and well, most of the people that we're evacuating are not actually evacuating. They're all going to die, probably. That's what it looks like. It looks like Sloane's going to die. She's going to stay behind. Vance is going to stay behind. Uh, all the other characters are staying behind. The only one that's coming with you is Anna Bray, and she's bringing an exo to probably put Rasputin into, like the
okay,
original Destiny 1 story. We all
yeah,
know this.
yeah.
Yeah. So, so
So it is Asher. Is he
he's staying
staying
behind.
behind or yeah?
So he's going to go into the Pyramidion, and he's going to face his fate at the lake, at the Radiolarian Lake.
Oh, okay,
Uh-huh.
sweet. Thing is, if he goes in there, it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to die then, because he could come out somewhere else, can he?
Yeah.
So
From what it sounds like, he's going to embrace the fact that he's changing into a Vex. So I think he's going to try to face his final fate in there before he changes. That's just a theory. But from what it sounded like from his lore tab that he gave, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like he's going to go in and die.
sweet. Oh, that'd be cool.
Vance is definitely going to die because Vance is blind, and
Yeah.
he's going into the Infinite Forest, and he's not going to come back. Although his lore tab's really messed up. His in the lore book that they give you, the evacuation lore book or whatever, his final one, he like meets himself from another timeline who's not blind, and he blinds him himself. He like
Oh,
just
what?
really messed up. Yeah,
That's,
it's messed
oh,
up,
it's
dude.
brutal.
Yeah, and then Sloane is like, her thing ends with her being like, whatever comes out of that pyramid, I'll be there to face it. Because the pyramid on Titan, she's probably definitely gonna die. And I think it's partially Bungie trying to cut. I don't want to say cut costs, but we know that voice actors can cost some money. We know that it's hard to schedule them, so they're probably trying to cut some costs, but also give characters a nice way out.
Yeah,
So, and they're obviously keeping Anna Bray because she's a pretty pivotal character.
yeah.
And Rasputin turning it into an EXO and really embracing that Destiny 1 storyline that they scrapped. That's really cool. So all in all, yeah, it's a good quest. The lore's cool. The gun's great. So well worth it. Did you do the secret quest this week?
No, I literally I jumped on with something that we'll talk about later, and that was it. I've been back at work, started back to work, came off furlough and everything, so I've been busy with that, and then the house move. So yeah, I've not had much time.
So there's a secret quest this week. If you're listening, go to Mars. And if you go to Mars, if you go, you know how like when you go up to Rasputin and you go through the little tunnels?
Yeah, yeah.
So you'll go through the first tunnel, and then instantly on your right is going to be a secret room. There's a lever you pull. You pull the lever, you collect some data, but it probably won't show you collecting the data. You just pull the lever or whatever. Then you go back to Anna, and she gives you a cool little lore tab, and you can pick up this thing from her, an exotic cipher, even though I already have an exotic cipher, but I can't use it because I already have all those exotics, which is really annoying, so I can't even
Yeah.
pick it up from her. But
Can't you spend it on another character?
can you?
Yeah, if you go, if I thought they just got added to your inventory, so you should be able to spend it on Zer.
Oh, so I can just bring it to Zer then. Okay.
Yeah, because you can use it on Zer to roll a second exotic engram. But obviously, if you've got all the exotics on your hunter,
Yeah.
then go on your warlock or your titan, spend it, and then grab it again. So
Oh, then I'll do that. Good idea. So basically, it's just a secret little quickie quest, but the lore tab and all that she gives you is about a former Bungie employee who passed away.
right, I've read about it. Then yeah, I didn't realize. Yeah, the honored. Yeah.
Yeah, so they
Yeah,
memorialize him as an ancient explorer, and it's really cool. It's really sweet. It's really easy, but it's really It's really nice. And I took a picture of the lore tab that she gives you after you finish it. She speaks it, on the side of the screen. And I took a picture to remember it. But it's really nice. It's a really cute way to remember him. And it's, Bungie's just that kind of company where they do that.
Yeah,
And
that's good.
yeah, so it was really nice. And I feel like they got his personality in there because they were like, he was a guy who would smoke cigars and drink whiskey and all that. And I'm like, he probably did that in real life. And that's really nice that they did that. So, it's not the biggest deal. You don't really get anything out of it except for Cypher, but it's nice, and I like that they did that. So besides that, there's not really a whole lot going on. But the Halloween event's coming up soon. Really excited for that. The armor looks awesome. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've not seen the armor yet, but I love getting the pumpkin head. Just so.
I'll send you a picture of the armor.
Are you sending it on?
Yeah, I'll send it to you on Skype. I'll put it in the chat. Let me see. I'll find a picture. That's not what I'm looking for. There's gonna be some cool masks. There's gonna be a Varix mask. Because Varix obviously is coming back. If y'all didn't see that trailer,
Yep.
I'm really excited for that. He's been a long time coming, so that'll be really awesome. Okay, I just sent it to the chat. So that's awesome. Really glad he's coming in.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That does look cool.
The Warlock looks really fancy, like he's a vampire count or something.
Yeah,
you saw that?
Victorian type stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
The Hunter one looks mint, the Hunter mask.
Yeah. The Titan has like a Frankenstein look, it's all right. And the Hunter has this awesome Wolfman mask, and that looks incredible.
That does look good.
With glowing
nobody cares
eyes.
about Titans, so it's fine.
Yeah. And it's funny because I've been harping for years about bringing back that Wolf Iron Banner cloak. This is good enough for me. A wolf helmet, I can deal with. That's good enough for me.
The thing is, when they put transmog in, you'll be able to, if you want to rock that all the time, you'll be able to do that, won't you?
Yeah, as long as it doesn't clip.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They always make it, I don't want to be mean, but like they never play test all the cloaks in the game. So sometimes they clip and I'm like, but why? Like, it just drives me nuts. But yeah, it looks really cool. I believe it's going to be the Haunted Forest again, which I actually really like. I think this is probably the last time we'll get the Haunted Forest. I believe it's the Haunted Forest. I could be wrong. It could be like a haunted aerial zone. I didn't fully read it, so I could be wrong. But I have always liked Festival of the Lost. I think it's probably the best of the seasonal type events, like that kind of stuff. So
it'd be interesting to see if there's anything in there from what would have been Beyond Light, because it should have been out, shouldn't it? So if they've had to adjust it, or if they're just going to recycle previous year's content, or if there's going to be what will technically be Easter eggs now because the game's not out, or if there'll be lore drops or voice lines or armor sets, anything. If there'll be anything in there.
I really hope there's a weapon. I don't even care what weapon. I just hope there's a weapon.
Yeah.
It's too bad it's not that would be cool. It's too bad it's not like a Braytech like werewolf, with better rolls for one. Because that was a cool looking weapon. I would love, what's weird? Halloween would have been the perfect event to bring back that rocket launcher from D1 that fired like flame rockets. The hell was that called? With like the World War II airplane kind of like look to it. Dragon's Breath.
Yep, there you go.
That would have been perfect because it's like the flaming pumpkin head of like Ichabod Crane and all that, Sleepy Hollow. That would have been perfect, but it's fine. But so yeah, Halloween's coming up. I'm definitely gonna play that. I love Halloween, so like that's gonna be a really fun event just to bide us over until the expansion comes out. Now, before we talk about the TWAB, because I want to save that for later, let's talk about what you wanted to talk about. So let's talk about next gen consoles, xCloud, Game Pass. So
yeah. So speaking of it, so we're talking about replaying Destiny now, and I've jumped on Destiny since Tuesday on xCloud. So got it on my phone on Android, and just been able to chill out on the sofa. I literally just booted it up. I didn't run around too much, Booted it all one to see how it would look, see if it's something I could play casually. I don't think I'd do Iron Banner in it because I'd end up probably losing my phone. I do get frustrated quite easily at Iron Banner, mainly because clearly the other person it's unfair and they killed me and I don't deserve it. So if I've got my phone in my hand as well, I'm not risking it. But it seems like it's still running on current consoles because the menu loading is like still. So I was hoping that potentially they'd be running on like Series S or Series X consoles, but it's still standard consoles, which is fine. But it looks good. It's quick. You're in there you're in there quicker than you would be if you were running it from a console. Only just, but it's definitely it boots up quicker. It looks good. It handles good. So that's nice. You haven't got an Android, have you? You've got iOS.
I have a freaking iPhone.
Yeah. Do you know anyone that's got an Android that's used it?
No, my brother has an Android, so I was gonna ask him after he gets back from work. It's. I was talked into getting an iPhone, and it's fine. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to dish on Apple. I have a MacBook, so like having an iPhone's a good idea. If I could go back in time, and I knew about xCloud, I definitely would have gotten an Android because I would love to play Destiny from my phone if I'm like if I'm at a doctor's appointment or something and I got like 20 minutes to spare and I'm like, I can play.
If you go out to your girlfriend or something like that, I don't know if you've got an Xbox there, but if you don't, and I guess she's got Wi-Fi, so you just pull out your phone.
Exactly. That's what I wish I could do because I really do love the idea of xCloud. I think it's a great idea. I think like people have to have the right expectations. Look, it's not gonna be perfect, but it's great if you want to play a quick match of Crucible or do some adventures because you have nothing else to do. So, have the right expectations. Don't be like, oh, it doesn't run as good Xbox because we've seen, in my opinion, a lot of unnecessary hate towards Xbox lately. And I think a lot of the things they've been doing are very, very consumer friendly. And don't call me a shill. Yes, I'm an Xbox player, and I've been an Xbox player for almost 20 years now. That doesn't mean I didn't grow up on PlayStation. I just think Xbox is more consumer friendly. That's just my opinion.
Well, they're proving that, but we'll talk about that a bit in a minute.
Definitely.
But in regards to how it handles, so I've had during the brief playtime I've had with Destiny, like I say, it ran fine, looked fine. It was responsive. Like you flick the stick and you'd move. There'd be no. And it's not knocking Google Stadia, but there is visible. You flick the stick and you go, and then you move. It's there. It's just an unfortunate thing. Whereas xCloud was fine, and I've been using xCloud since probably February because I did the testing for it, and which sounds like it's a big thing, but it's not because loads of people did it, but it's just gotten better and better and better and better with latency. So it's only going to get better, which is good. I've not tried it on 4G yet. I've only tried it on Wi-Fi, so I'll see what it's like on 4G. I'm just worried about data caps, is that it'll use a lot of data, so I'll have to try that out.
Yeah.
But I'm impressed with it, and it allows me to get in from work and just sit on the sofa and just do this.
Yeah.
Downstairs we've just got one TV, and that'll have something on it, or my partner will be playing something. So now we've got an attic, I'll have to go all the way upstairs, and because Destiny doesn't have a pull factor at the moment, coming all the way up here and not having anyone else nearby just to run some bounties, it's not worth it right now. So whereas being able to chill on the sofa and just pull out the phone and just play, it's good. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't want to say that Destiny's becoming more casual again because I don't think it is. But in a sense, it's opening itself up more. And I like I said, I don't think it's becoming more casual or opening up to a more casual audience. I just can't find the right word I'm looking for, but it's definitely opening up to more avenues to play it.
Yeah,
and that's great. And it's not just Xbox. Destiny in general. This is just such a great move for them because one, it's more players. Two, more avenues for you to play it, which is always a good thing. Like, being able to play it, whether you're at a doctor's appointment, whether you're at home and someone has a TV, or, any kind of scenario that you're in, if you're in the car and you're going to use somebody's phone as a hotspot or something, it probably won't run the best, but you can, and that's good, giving you the
Even if it's
option to do that.
yeah, even if you just jump on and do bounties or just I don't know, show somebody where the secret quest is on Mars. You know, it's there. I know 2 people already that have been wanting to play Destiny, but even though it's free to play, wanted the full experience and have not wanted to pay for it.
Yeah.
And they've jumped on. And then the negative side of it, their criticism is, what the hell am I doing? And we know that the new player experience is a complete mess.
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll change from November.
Yeah.
But right now it is a mess. So, you know, I've tried to guide them as best I can through Twitter and just be like, you know, do the beginning bit and then go and see Amanda Holloway and just play it like we did. Just play through that experience. And then do all the dozens and dozens of quests that pop up and send you in directions that you don't know what they mean.
Yeah. And we do know that it's going to change in November, hopefully for the better.
Yeah, hopefully. But they're enjoying the gunplay, they're enjoying how it looks. Obviously, they complain about the menu loading times, but so does everybody else, unless you're on PC. So, they're there, and they don't have to pay for Be Online now. You know, they can just jump in with the rest of us.
Yeah.
So, just happy days.
Yeah, you know, even if new players don't like how it's working right now, you don't have to keep this character. You can just test the game out, play some quests and shiznit, just to test it out and see if it's for you. And if you like it, but you're not crazy about the new player experience, you can just test it out with this basic character, and then you can just delete the character and wait till Beyond Light comes out in a month or so. And then you can just make a new character and do the whole process again. But like, it'll be hopefully a better process. So, you know, it's not horrible. You don't have to waste a ton of time. You can just use this new player experience to like test out the game and see if you like it, you know, because the game is responsive and stuff. And, you know, people obviously love the gameplay. So, you know, you don't have to lock in on this character. And, but yeah, you know, and I'm definitely really excited, and xCloud's great. And these next gen consoles, I like that, first of all, 60 FPS. That's going to be awesome.
Yep.
That's well needed. Did you manage to pre-order any consoles?
Yeah, so I got an Xbox and a PS5 pre-ordered.
Big baller.
Now, but I sorry to me. But I've been trying to get an Xbox on All Access. So you know, the small monthly fee, but you get 2 years of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Now over here in the UK, it's been an absolute nightmare. There's only 2 retailers that do it. Both of them have had issues, so their websites completely got hammered, which you expect. But it's like the Kanye meme. So you had to queue to get into the Xbox All Access application, and then you got to the end of it, and it went, you need to pre-order the console to do this. So then you had to queue to pre-order the console to queue to put it into All Access. And it's like, luckily I had both up at the same time.
Yeah.
But combined, it was 2 hours of queuing online just to get to it. And then the application link broke. So now they're sending you into store. So tomorrow I'm going to go into store and hope that I can complete the application. So, because if I could do that, great. Then I'll definitely be able to get both. If not, I'll have to just see what it's like near the time, and I'll have to maybe cancel my PS5. But I really want Demon's Souls, so it's like, so hopefully I can get it. But the other retailer, theirs were accepting applications. You went through it all, it completed it. It gave you a yes, you're okay, and then they've gone and cancelled loads of people's orders, going, actually, we said yes to too many people.
Oh my gosh.
So it's been an absolute mess. But I've got one pre-ordered, one of each pre-ordered, so I'm good. It's just, if I get on All Access, then that's perfect, because I can definitely get both. If not, I'll have to cut down on Lucozade for a month and just drink water instead.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
Well,
I know your family and stuff.
Well, it's definitely a credit check, right? If you do All Access, they check your credit and all that.
Yeah.
So as a student, as a recently graduated college student, I knew couldn't do All Access probably because my credit sucks. But you know what? Any listeners that are college students or recently graduated college students, check your credit report. Make sure you don't have any hidden things that you forgot about or you didn't know about. I just did that, and I paid off something that I didn't know about that's been from like 7 years ago. I negotiated it down. You can negotiate it down, and if there's something you really don't know about, dispute it. I just want to get that out there because I had something there, and I was like, oh, that'll fix your credit. Anyway.
Fair advice. Definitely good advice.
Yeah, right? So we woke up, at least in the Pacific, because it released on the North American side at like 8 a.m. So
Yeah,
we woke
same
up
for
at
us,
like,
yeah.
exactly, right? So we woke up at like 7:30. Me, my mother, her roommate, and my little brother. And we got on the site, and it was horrible. Like, it crashed really bad. So we kept trying to. The problem was where you would click on it, and we did it through Microsoft.
Yeah.
And it wasn't perfect. It definitely wasn't a great process, but like we did get it done eventually. Now, for me at least, it was really easy. I don't know, maybe I just got lucky, but I pushed through and I straight up just pre-ordered the console. Now, if you did it through Microsoft, they don't charge you until it ships,
Yeah.
which is great. So you just have to make sure you have enough money in your account at that time, which I will. I'll be fine. Because I didn't want to do all access because you end up paying more money for all access, and I already pay for Ultimate, so I was like, whatever, I'll just buy it outright. I already have to pay monthly for my phone and for my laptop, so like I don't want another monthly thing holding me down. So I just decided to do that. Now through Microsoft, it was pretty smooth for me at least. The real nightmare became getting it into your cart and finishing the process because it would glitch out. It would leave your card. You'd have to go back in. Now I got it done pretty quickly, and I took a picture, a screenshot of my order confirmation, all that. And my mother, she had some trouble, but she got it done. Now the problem began with my little brother. There was a lot of problems with the site being able to process payment types, and it wasn't processing, and we had to keep changing it, and it was a nightmare. It doesn't matter what card he was using. The site just couldn't do it. So eventually we got it done. And then my mother's roommate had trouble. He was trying to do it through Best Buy. That was awful because he had like a ton of gift cards from Best Buy, more than enough to pay for the console. But he couldn't get it done. And he was about to go to the store to do it. And then my mother managed to get it done on Microsoft. So he sold his gift cards to a friend of his. And his friend will just give him the cash, and then he'll just use that cash to pay for the console. So it works out. So through Microsoft's website, it was easier, but it wasn't great. I definitely hear everybody's concerns about how everything was crashing. I definitely think GameStop and Amazon, I think, were the worst ways to do it. They were a nightmare. And my mother's friend missed out on pre-ordering an Xbox. One, because kids, remember, refresh, refresh, refresh. Do not wait for the site to process. Do not click out and click back in. Just refresh. If you don't refresh, you're screwed. So he didn't refresh. He didn't realize he had it in his cart for like 40 minutes. So he missed out. So he's out of luck. So that's where you learn to refresh. And also, don't pay through PayPal. You're just going to extend the process and make it worse for yourself. So don't pay through PayPal if it's something urgent like this. So we all four managed to get ours. I understand some people didn't. It's fine. It is a gaming console. There will be more available soon. It is what it is. It's not the end of the world. And I know it's easy for me to say that because I pre-ordered mine. But we had to expect this.
Yeah.
We had to expect that there was going to be issues. You just have to be patient. And I'm not very patient, but you go into it with the right expectations. And also, I still think it was better than how Sony did it, because Sony didn't even let people know when it was available in certain places and stuff. So people were like, "Wait, it's available? Oh no!"
Well,
At least Xbox told you.
With the PS5 though, it was because there was a retailer in the States that I think it might be Walmart.
Jump the gun, right?
Yeah. So it was supposed to go live the next day.
Yeah.
But it didn't because that retailer broke it. So then the world broke it. Now it was just gonna. It was like I don't know 11:30 something like that. Now I was about to go to bed and I saw Twitter. It was like PS5 pre-orders are up. I was like, what? If not, I would have missed out.
Yeah.
But because they broke it, I was lucky enough to be able to get one. Whereas I know people that they've been in bed by that point. They woke up the next day and missed out. Damn. So yeah, so Sony messed up there, and Xbox did say that if anybody broke the street date on pre-orders, then they would be punished by limited stock and fines. So and if anything, retailers actually delayed it. So over here you had Argos, which is a big retailer. They delayed their pre-orders. I want to say to the next day.
Yeah,
So let everybody else go out, do all theirs, and then they went, right, ours are going to be up at this time
that's smart.
on this day. So they got absolutely hammered as well, but it made sense. It was done the right way.
Yeah,
And then PlayStation today, well, yesterday technically now for me, they had a refresh of stock. So a couple of sites had some more stock come in,
yeah,
which was good. So hopefully Microsoft will be the same next week. Monday or Tuesday, they might go, here's some more stock. It's very, very limited. Give it a go. So
yeah. And that's smart. And also, I understand that a retailer jumped the gun, but Sony should have handled it differently. Sony should have been like, "No, we're not going to honor any pre-orders if you jump the gun. You have to release it when we say." Sony didn't do that. So the way Sony handled it, I think, was wrong because it screwed a lot of people over that were loyal customers that were waiting, and they got screwed. And a lot of people who just buy them and then jack the price up
yeah,
benefited from that. And
a lot of scalpers.
here's the thing: I know people disagreed with me on Twitter, but if you fall for a scalper charging you double the price for the console, that is your fault. You do not have to buy the console for $1,000. You can wait because, like you said, they had to refresh the stock. There will be more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You don't
But
have to buy it at that price.
eBay's terms and conditions as well say that you can't sell an item unless it's within 30 days. So, in theory, eBay could pull all of the pre-orders that are up because it's not out. It's over 30 days. Especially in the UK, we get it a week later than the States and other places. So it shouldn't be going up till like the 19th, 20th of October for pre-orders on eBay. So, like I say, if eBay wanted, they could pull all them or nullify the orders. So but why would they? Because they'll be making a percentage cut off of all these sales. So it's business winning out over what's right. So. But I wouldn't have ordered a PS5. I know it's the Destiny podcast and we're going off a little bit, but when they announced Demon's Souls was a launch title, it was like that was my only thing. If that's a launch title, I've got to get one on day one. And it's a launch title, so I'm like, I have to have it. Everything else I can wait for. Spider-Man, what I wanted to get, is coming out on PS4, which is funny because they were like, we're not doing cross-gen titles, but that's a completely different topic. But Demon's Souls launch title, day one, PS5 only. I'm like, I have to get one now because I missed out on it originally on PS3 because I was playing World of Warcraft way too much. So for a couple of years, I missed out on big games on consoles. So I need to go back and I need to play it for the first time. So
yeah. And I understand that, and but like I said, people, don't fall for scalpers because if you fall for them, you're just going to strengthen them,
Yeah.
Do not let them take advantage of you. I don't care if it's my son wants it for Christmas. Do not spend more than you should. It is just a console at the end of the day. People spend like $1,000 on a PS5 because of a scalper. You could have spent that on a gaming PC. You could have built one. So,
exactly.
Don't fall for it. I know it's easy for me to say that because I got one, but look, there will be more, so it's not a big deal. I still think Xbox's event was better than Sony's, not by a lot, but it was better.
If anything, though, it's the retailer infrastructure that
definitely
let both of them down because this is not the first time a big console has launched online.
Yeah.
So the One X and the PS4 Pro are, 7 years ago when PS4 and Xbox One came out, online shopping was massive. But for me and a lot of people I knew, we still went and queued up to buy it.
Yep.
Whereas this time round, for me, more often than not, it's because of COVID. So I could have still got one in person if I'd queued up the next morning.
Yeah.
But I'm not going out, and because in the UK also we've got it's ramping back up again. I've moved to an area which is now at medium risk, which is funny because where I was it was fine. So I'm just not risking doing that. I might be being paranoid or whatever, but I'm just safer just to be at home. And hundreds of thousands of other people will be doing that as well, and it just kills websites. Absolutely kills them. So let's just hope they can do better next time. Which obviously, if that's in 7 years' time, you'd think it would be better. So,
and that's the thing. Like, I don't think people are fair because when Bungie releases a new DLC and the game crashes, it's Bungie's fault for not having the proper infrastructure. It's not Xbox's fault.
Yeah.
So it's not Xbox's fault this was such a shitty process. It's the retailer's fault because they weren't prepared, and you would think they would be. So stop the unnecessary hate for Xbox.
And Sony with the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, and Sony. Like, do I think that it was better with Xbox? Yes. But it's still not Sony's fault. Now, Sony should have handled it better. That is their fault. But it's not Sony's fault that the process itself sucked. So let's put the hate where... Okay, wait. I don't want to phrase this on public stuff. Voice your frustrations at the correct people responsible. Frustrations, no hate.
Yeah, it's frustration. Yeah, we can all be frustrated,
Exactly.
And people can hate, but there's no reason. There are bigger things in the world going on right now. You don't need to hate that you didn't get a pre-order on a console.
Exactly.
Damn right, you'd be frustrated.
Yeah,
I'm still frustrated that I've not got one on all access, and then tomorrow hopefully that will change. And if not, I'll still be frustrated. Yeah, but it's frustration.
Yeah.
So
let's be healthy about it, guys. Don't do something stupid. Don't say something stupid that'll get you in trouble or make the gaming community look bad, okay? Let's remember that, all right? Because we've had this trouble in the Destiny community forever, and it hasn't really changed, and we got to make that change. Just by one act, you can make that change, so let's remember that. So, to get off this topic...
Sorry. Shout out to Orchid. I know she's not on. She's posted on Twitter, and she's just had a haircut. It looks really nice.
Orchid?
Yeah.
Really? Oh,
yeah. So looks nice, Orchid, if you're listening or watching.
Yeah, let me check this. I gotta see this. Orchid's haircut looks amazing.
It does.
Everybody go on Orchid's Twitter when this comes out and send her happy messages about her hair. It looks fantastic. So Orchid, same. Your hair looks great. So to move on to the TWAB.
Yep.
We're gonna go through the TWAB. So, the TWAB for September 24th, 2020. So, it begins with talking about weather, and it's a Europa trailer. It was a really cool trailer. We got to see more stuff that we haven't seen yet, like this weird-ass Vex that like launched itself at the Guardian, kind of like a killer squid type thing.
Yeah.
It was really cool. And they released a map of Europa, which I'm going to sound like a hater. It looks really big. But I said this on last week's podcast. Is there going to be shit to do in it?
It looks like Tangled Shore to me, like Tangled Shore size.
Mm-hmm.
Plus maybe Mars.
Mm-hmm.
If you put Tangled Shore and Mars together. And if that's the case, retail space, it's big. But has it got the content?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Are we going to be able to go up into buildings? Are we going to go down into tunnels and into Vex whatever? I don't want to sound mean, but it's like, it looks big and it looks cool, but is there going to be shit to do in it? Because it's the same problem with like Nessus or EDZ. Looks awesome.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do in it. So we have the Eventide Ruins, the Cadmus Range, which I think is like a lore thing people said. Asterian Abyss, Charon's Crossing. Now that's cool. I like that name, Charon's Crossing, because Charon is obviously the rower of the dead in like Greek mythology or something. So that's cool. And Beyond. So Eventide Ruins looks awesome. I mean, from the screenshot that if you guys click on it, it'll take you to a clickable map, and it shows like a screenshot. Once home to thousands of settlers, now all that remains of Clovis Bray's colony. Now I love anything that, it seems like Destiny is embracing its sci-fi, and I've said this before, we all know this. I love sci-fi, and I love when Destiny pushes aside the fantasy and goes more into the creepy, weird sci-fi. I love it. So this is like this weird sci-fi frozen ruins of a city that Clovis Bray built. So from the screenshot, we see some statues, we see some buildings, and I freaking love this. This is probably going to be my favorite location on the planet. After that, we see... are you bringing up the map on the TWAB?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, I've got it on the screen. Yeah.
So Asterian Abyss, the Vex structures visible on the surface are only the tip of the iceberg. So it's kind of like the Pyramidion, but covered in ice, it looks like. It looks really cool. I mean, the Vex are really interesting.
If Asher just
Cadmus.
comes walking out, it's like, oh,
Yeah,
it's just
right.
like he's back.
He's like, there he is, right? Can you imagine? That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
And he's just like 80% Vex now. It's just a human head, and the rest is a Vex body. Or,
Yeah.
not
Can you
human, but a Wotan
imagine?
or whatever it is.
You know,
So.
it would be cool if he ends up looking like the Warlock from Vault of Glass, where he's got like the Vex legs, but he's like, I
Oh,
managed to stop the process, but I couldn't save my legs and my arm.
yeah,
That'd
that'd
be
be pretty
kind of
cool.
cool. After that, we have Cadmus Range, a snowy landscape in the last known location of a buried Bray exoscience facility, possibly the Deepstone Crypt.
Yeah, I was about to say, I wonder where we think it is. So graphically, that
Yeah.
screenshot
Hmm.
doesn't look great.
Does it? Does it look
It,
great?
it doesn't look great to me.
Doesn't
It's
look
like
that
there's
good.
no footprints under this. I know it's being really picky, but there's no impression in the snow. They're on snow.
Yeah.
There's no impression there. The shadows look really flat. It just, yeah,
It just looks
I
like
don't
they're
know.
standing on snow like they're Legolas, and I don't like it.
Yeah,
It,
yeah.
eh,
The background looks fantastic, but
yeah,
the character models and that bit there is not doing it for me.
yeah.
Hopefully, this is done on like current gen
Hmm.
tech, and it's not running on either high end PC or next gen. So
Yeah, I agree with you. And I wonder how they're gonna get into that facility. I hope we can go into it in patrol and
have you
whatnot.
seen? You seen they got backpacks on?
Yeah.
That
So
looks pretty cool.
the new armor sets, the Europa sets,
Yeah,
the Europa planetary sets are those sets. They're very Arctic. They have backpacks.
sweet.
I love the idea of backpacks. Emma knows this. I love the idea of a Guardian having a backpack because it would make sense. I mean, Ghost in Destiny 1 said, well, I just hang out in your backpack. And also, I mean, especially for a hunter, but other classes too, you would have a backpack to carry your shit. Like,
Yeah,
so it just makes sense. And I know Joker hates these armor sets. I like them. I think they're cool. I like that the helmets for each one have like a rangefinder, like clone troopers. I love that.
yeah.
So I think they're really
No.
cool. Although I don't like the ice skate, like fucking snowshoe Titan thing, but those are
Well, they,
Titans.
they
So
freaking they freaking slide and glide everywhere anyway.
yeah.
So
And Joker's
it's
not on the cast today, so we can hate on Titans as much as we want now.
you hate times
So
anyway. Pardon my French.
I like that
I
the
know
Warlock
those.
has like a Arctic trench coat going on, and I like that the Hunter has like a heavy cloak. Like that's really cool. So besides the graphical quality, that building in the background looks really cool, and I hope we can
Yeah,
go into it during patrols. But let's be honest, from that circle next to it, it's probably a strike location. Uh,
and,
but the
and that
Eventide
means it could be
ruins looks cool.
deep stone crypt, and if it is strike, so
Oh my! Well, that's where the raid is, the Deepstone Crypt. Um,
yeah,
so next is Charon's Crossing. That, besides Eventide Ruins, looks like my second favorite. The
yeah. And
site opens
graphically,
up.
that looks really good. So
Yeah, and that weird
looks like the
what was that?
moon
Jupiter.
location, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, that looks like the moon location. Actually, kind of looks like the location in the what is it called? It looks like that location on the Cosmodrome where you set up the transmitter to go talk to Rasputin or whatever.
Yeah,
The last array. But Charon's Crossing, the site of Europa's communication center and the origin of a distress signal sent by Varix. Now, whether or not
yes.
we forgive Varix for nonchalantly getting Kate 6 killed, very interesting. Distress signal
Yeah.
sent by Varix. And there's Jupiter in the background. Looks really cool. Looks really, really interesting.
Do you think? Do you think that there is a chance that, like Forsaken, will get an unannounced extra zone at the end, and potentially,
Can you
it could be
imagine?
Jupiter.
Well, I've seen on Twitter it's trending that in the Destiny community at least that a lot of people think that Bungie's playing its cards tight and that we might get Enceladus. I don't know how much evidence people have for that. I haven't really looked into it to be honest because I'm not big on theories anymore because it never really works out.
Yeah, let
I
yourself down.
do think Bungie is hiding something
They
big.
have to be,
They have to be
because
because
look how unhappy we are, and we're people that have played it since D1, and we can forgive a lot, but there is not value. And obviously, it was the Twitter post last week, wasn't it? That got put up. There's not much value in Beyond Light right now. And as somebody, thankfully, that's got Game Pass, we don't have to pay for it.
Yep.
Also, you've bought the collector's edition already, but if you hadn't done, you know, it's not costing me anything beyond what I'm already paying every month anyway. But
Yeah.
I'd still pay it because I'm a Destiny fan. But I would be hard pressed to see the value of £35 in this with one strike, no new Crucible, etc., etc. Because they're not showing a lot. So either there's going to be a massive content dump a week or two before launch, like they should have been originally, or they're going to do a Forsaken and be like, yeah, this is what you get, and then you finish it, and then there's a massive other zone with loads of content, and even more strikes and lore and adventures and secrets to discover. I'm hoping it's that, but if it is, they're doing amazing because there's no leaks, there's no teasers, there's no former employees announced they were working on this. There's none of that.
I'm sure it's all tied up in ND. Like, I'm sure they learned their lesson with certain things, and if they are hiding it, it's tied up behind very, very strict NDAs. Where if you leak anything, they're gonna sue the shit out of you, which they should do. They should have strict NDAs. They should have been doing this from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because I don't like leaks. Like, I don't mind leaks if it's like, ooh, this exotic weapon's coming back or something like that, something little. But I hate big leaks because then it ruins the... That's why with movies, I only watch one trailer, the first trailer, because I don't want to spoil it for myself. So it's like, if they are hiding something, and I do think Bungie's hiding something big for this DLC. So. God, I really hope. Let's be honest. Let's be really honest right now. As much as I love this game, Beyond Light, to me, is not worth... give or take tax, $50.
Yeah.
It just isn't. Because Taken King and Forsaken were well worth the money. Even Rise of Iron, to me, put out almost the same amount of content as this DLC, and it was half the price.
Yeah.
So, Beyond Light's going to change a lot of things in the game, and that's great, but it's not worth $50. Like, it's really not. Like, Rise of Iron, what? Brought in multiple strikes, multiple maps. It brought in a badass raid. It brought in dope-ass armor. It had new armor for everything, unlike this. There was so much. And that was $20. And like people say, let's compare this to Taken King and Forsaken. No, let's be harsh. Let's hold them to a standard. Let's compare this to Rise of Iron. Don't compare this to Taken King and Forsaken. Hold this to Rise of Iron, because Rise of Iron was half the price and arguably brought in more content than this. So while this looks great, there's no way it's worth $50. Did I buy it? Yes. Partially because I run a damn podcast on this game. I gotta play the new content. I gotta play all the new shit. Plus I wanted the statue of the Exo Stranger, which I got, and if you want to see a picture of it, go on my Twitter. It looks awesome.
Good.
Right? But is this worth $50? No, I don't think it is. And I think November Hotel, if you want to watch his video on it, you really, really should. He does a really good video about it, and he rips on it. And he's like, this isn't worth it. It's a very good video. Very, very good.
Hopefully on the 11th of November, we'll
find out.
Words going, we've been playing it for a day now. This is mind-blowing. I've finished the campaign. I've unlocked new stasis, and then all this content exploded. So
I sincerely hope so, because let's be honest, I'm excited. I'm not impressed.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. Definitely not impressed, because I'm sorry. I'm not impressed with one strike. I'm not impressed with losing half the Crucible but not getting anything. This is the thing. It's the same thing when you're buying stuff. If I buy a pair of sneakers, I sell an old pair of sneakers for the same price to equate the loss. Bungie's not doing that. Bungie's not, okay, we're moving half the Crucible old maps and stuff, but we're going to bring in a bunch of new maps, or a couple new Europa maps and shit, and also maybe some old maps from Rise of Iron and Taken King to balance it out. Or we're taking away a bunch of strikes, but we're going to bring in a couple new strikes to balance it out on different locations and stuff. But they're not doing, or maybe some remixed Destiny 2 strikes, But they're not doing that. And that's not worthy of me being impressed. That's not worthy of my praise. And we've said this on a previous episode, but we really got to hammer this point through, because they really need to hear this, of like, when you take from a game, you have to put new shit in, because you have to keep people invested. All the stuff that's getting taken out, and I'm sorry, Joker was right. the Cosmodrome is cool, but I played Sepix Prime. And if I want to play it again, I'll just go back to Destiny 1 and play it, and I have two versions to play.
Yeah.
I have the Siva and the regular version. I have
It'd
the
be interesting to see what
Cosmodrome
they do
and
with
the
it.
Plaguelands.
It's got to be another, like a Siva version. It's got to be something else. So whether it's, there ends up being a pyramid over the Cosmodrome or something.
Yeah.
Because we don't, well, I say we don't want just the original. I'd be happy with the original, but it surely has got to be more than that.
Exactly. And
So,
I'm not crazy about paying $50 for something I did 5 or so years ago. I'm just not. Like, I'm just really, really not. And if that is the way it is, I'm gonna say a lot of negative about it on Twitter because, like, yeah, would it be cool to get like a beautiful version of the Cosmodrome? Sure, but, and I'm gonna come off really mean, but the Cosmodrome was not my favorite location in Destiny 1. I thought it was boring as hell. It was just a wasteland. It was as boring as the Tangled Shore was for me because it's just a shitty wasteland. That's why I hated Fallout. Yes, I hate Fallout. I don't think they're bad games. I just don't like that it's just a wasteland. It's just, why do I care about building a location if everything looks like shit? So, like, I'm not crazy about the Cosmodrome because it was just a wasteland. Like, so, you know, it's the same thing with the moon. And Joker said this, I believe, last episode or maybe the episode before. The moon looked great in Beyond, in Shadowkeep, but it was just the same. With a couple additions, it was the same thing. Like, if you're going to bring in the Cosmodrome, you have to radically change it a bit. You need to add a pyramid. You need to add some crazy shit that's going on. And if you're going to add these old strikes, there has to be a reason we're doing them. I don't want to do it if it's the same thing we did in Destiny 1. Because if I wanted to do that, I can go back and play it and not pay money. You're asking
hopefully
us to
it'll tie
pay
into
money for the
Audience
same
of.
shit. Exactly. I'm really hoping he comes back as like the Crow and like there's
He's
a
like,
reason we're there.
we need to, there's been something lying under the Cosmodrome all these years. You missed out on it. Go to these strikes done to discover these clues or something. Even if it's literally you're running for the same strike, but then there's a new room that we've discovered because of something.
Yeah.
That makes it worth it because it's nostalgia, and then it's that with what you said
But
about
new.
Mars. You're going through Mars again. You're going up there. Oh, there's actually a room now, and then it's got that tribute to the developer. Just little things like that. We're not asking for the world. Just for those people that are paying, £35, $50 or whatever, which is going to be the majority of Xbox players, because there's only 15 million Xbox Game Pass subscribers, so there's still like 30, 40 million potential players of Destiny that don't have Game Pass. Then you've got the whole PlayStation community and the whole PC community that are paying that money. So
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I don't want people to think I'm being negative about the game, but at the same time, it's like you can't ask us for more money and give us old shit. I'm sorry, that's not how it works. Like, you have to innovate. So
yeah,
hopefully they're
it's
hiding.
not unreasonable to ask.
Yeah. So I definitely am with you. I think they're hiding something big. I fucking hope they are. For the future of this game, please, Bungie, be hiding something huge.
Yeah.
But again, the final location, it says Beyond. An old friend awaits us in this clearing, Exostranger, that confronts the conflict between light and dark. We have seen screenshots of her hut. She's got a picture of her sister in there. I'm sure that's going to be like a kind of cutscene where maybe we'll plan something out. It's going to be overlooking the pyramid. Hopefully we can go into the pyramid.
Well, if that whole area there is explorable,
Yep.
that is insane, isn't it? So.
Well, the thing about that is we don't know. This looks big, but we don't see what a player icon looks like on it. And that, I think, is extremely important. We don't know just how big that really is. That's very vague because we can't tell how big our icon is, so we can't tell how big that really is. Like, this could look big, and then you get on the planet and it's like Mars, where it looked big.
Yeah.
Then you see how big your icon is, and you're like, oh, this isn't that big at all. So hopefully we're tiny compared to this map. So
Hopefully.
Again, I'm not trying to be negative, but I'm just saying that's something that people have not talked about. How big is our icon compared to the map? So And then we see these big circles, these 3 huge circles, which I assume are going to mean some sort of activity. So one might be the strike, one is definitely the raid, and then one is something.
So,
I don't know what. So we'll see. Other than that, it just talks about the different editions, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, back to the TWAB. Looks cool. Europa looks cool, but we still don't really know the scale of the map. So don't get so excited that you get disappointed. So it looks cool, but we'll see. Then it talks about Game Pass.
Imagine the first meeting of, especially in this universe, first meeting of Anna Bray and the Exo Stranger. Because if the Exo Stranger is from a different timeline, and this isn't her main timeline, then she will not have met this version of Anna Bray.
Yeah.
And Anna Bray obviously believes that she's lost a sister.
And we know that the Exo Stranger definitely knows something about Anna, otherwise she wouldn't have her picture in the hut.
Yeah. So that's going to be good.
And
I'd be well up for a sister storyline where,
hell yeah,
there's the whole I'm not you're not my sister, don't get attached to me, etc. And by the end of it, either there's some sort of sacrifice or there is a big save. Imagine if it's Anna's the one that's like, you're not my sister, go away. Because think it'd be the Exo Stranger because she's very guarded, but it could be Anna Bray is the one that's like, go away kind of thing.
It would be cool to see the Exo Stranger open up just a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely. And just talks about Game Pass. And then it goes to the Iron Banner. Old Iron Banner, Triple Valor, Triple Infamy is this week. Triple Valor is next week. So the week that this will be releasing, it'll be Triple Valor and Iron Banner will be out. Control, obviously, the mode I hate the most. And the same weapons. So I personally don't care. I'm still going to play Iron Banner. Yeah. I don't care about these 2 weapons. I just want a good version of Criminal's Dagger because I like handguns. But, if you like these weapons, you want the new perks on these weapons, go for it. I don't really care, but they're good. Good perks. They're fine. They're good perks, I guess. I just don't like that they're reskinned weapons, but that's just my opinion. But other than that, it'll give people something to do. And obviously, I'm going to play it. We should play it together for once.
Yes, definitely.
So besides that, let's skip to the good part. So, talking tech, preparing for Beyond Light, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, this guy named David Aldridge, Destiny Engineering Director. So he knows his stuff. So he talks about when Destiny 2 launched 3 years ago, we had no idea that in 2020, and I'm sorry for the plane that's flying over me, but yeah, there's nothing I can do about a plane. Hey, can you lower the engine noise?
Got a record over here.
Yeah.
Well, that Dragon's Breath.
Yeah, right? When Destiny 2 launched 3 years ago, this is David Aldridge speaking, we had no idea that in 2020 we'd announce a new trilogy of expansions. At the time, we thought Destiny 2's arc would look a lot more like Destiny 1, a couple of expansions and then a sequel. Cringe. I know people wanted Destiny 3. I don't. I don't want to start all over again. I really don't. We learned many lessons from the transition to Destiny 2, and from shipping Curse of Osiris, Warmind, Forsaken, the Year 2 Seasons, and Shadowkeep. When we evaluated those lessons, we decided not to pursue Destiny 3. I think a good idea and a better way to allocate their money. But instead to reinvest everything in Destiny 2 and make it all that it can be. Kind of like, in my opinion, the Final Fantasy 14 with the whole revamp they did. To support that strategy, we've made several tech investments. Now, this is what everyone's really excited about. So let's make sure we read this correctly and better explain this, because I know some people in the community have not exactly, they've gotten a little bit lost in the sauce about this. So many of these changes are under the hood and won't affect your experience. But some may result in neat improvements, curious behavior differences, or bugs. That means that on November 10th, some places and things will feel a little like sliders. Only 90s kids will get this. Now, if you're a 90s kid, games had sliders that you could change things in. If you play Total War, that's what I'm thinking of. Now, I don't know if
Sliders was a TV show.
It was a TV show. Got it.
Yeah, where, and if I get this wrong, then I apologize, but go to different, same Earth, but things are slightly different.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure Sliders is, it had I can't remember the guy's name, but he looks like Pavarotti, but with a big beard like yours. And one of the spoilers for a 90s TV show, there's one bit where they get back to their original Earth, and the gate is supposed to squeak, and they go up to the house and they open the gate and it doesn't squeak, and they're like, "We're not back home," and they carry on their adventures. But and then somebody walks out going, "Oh, I fixed your gate for you," and it's like, "Oh my god!" So if that's not Sliders, I've either just made up a TV show or I got the name wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's Sliders. So
that makes sense. Okay, so like, let's say you go back to Mars, but instead of, let's keep reading, and then I'll make that thing before I.
Well, there's a bit later on where they talk about lighting, so that would be the big.
Oh, okay. We shifted our mission scripting model to run on the physics host instead of the mission host. And there's a interview with Matt Seger that you can click on that. It details that more, but we're not going to do that. In the long run, this change will give designers options to create more novel mission mechanics by giving the mission scripting environment full access to the game state instead of the much more limited access the mission host had. For example, the physics host knows exactly where enemy combatants are and what actions they recently performed, while the mission host only knew how many combatants were alive in the squad and what that squad was generally trying to accomplish. In Beyond Light, we're only launching the foundations of this system, and we're looking forward to evolving and leveraging it in the future. So he says, what you might notice. The new scripting environment changed many behaviors in complex ways, and you may see interesting behavior changes or bugs in pre-Beyond Light missions and public events and similar that were originally built and tested on the previous system. We've tested these missions heavily and stamped out many bugs, but some will undoubtedly slip through. We'll be monitoring and fixing remaining bugs over time. In some cases, these issues are more severe. For example, they caused the Prophecy Dungeon to be unavailable temporarily. We're all excited for its triumphant return, slated for the end of this year. One other cool new feature in this area is face-to-face joins in social space. So you can now fire team up with tower friends without a long tower reload. Awesome!
That is the one bit I wanted to highlight, because everything else is good, but that is like, oh.
Thank God.
Just now they need to put in the bounties in space, like they said, and then you never need to go to the tower.
Exactly, especially because this tower sucks compared to the tower in Destiny 1. I'm just saying. And I still think blow up the new tower and let's just get a space station, because then that would make sense as to why everything is in space. Because
yeah, but then you can't protect the citizens of the last city, though, can you? If you're in space, because you got to transmat down. So
what have they ever done for me?
But how many towers is it? Is it 9 towers, 7 towers, or something like that? So
too many.
Yeah, so just go to another tower. There's got to be another one that's better.
Towers in this universe are stupid anyway. That's why we got challenged by the Cabal. If we had a space station, it'd be easier to defend, in my opinion. Anyway,
we got challenged by the Cabal because what's the name turned off the defenses, didn't they? So
but still, space station is cool. That was the original idea in Destiny 1. I still think they should bring it in. Just my opinion.
Oh no, it's not space station. So.
We revamped our content building and patching pipeline for speed and install size. With the tremendous size of Destiny, our complete shippable content builds were frequently taking north of 24 hours. Now, we all know that Bungie said that because of the way their engine works, it would take them forever just to move something to a different part of the map. So it sounds like they're cutting that down, which is great. We made investments to bring that down to sub 12 hours, which resulted in a bunch of changes to our content and patching formats. We also took on work to allow us to cull content that we've upgraded or replaced. Our previous patching system had limited capabilities, blah, 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 dead content, assets in the base installed to replace and later patches, blah, blah, blah. So they're cutting stuff out that they don't need. Due to all these changes, Beyond Light will be a full re-download on all platforms. We know this will be painful, and we're sorry about that. But people, it will be painful, but it's better in the long term. They're planning to enable Beyond Light preload sometime in the evening of November 9th Pacific time, which should give everyone at least 10 hours, if you have shitty internet, to download before the gates open. Great. That's awesome. A big change right here that people are ignoring. Destiny 2's install size shrinks by 30 to 40%. Now, if only Call of Duty could do that. This is big, because we know that Destiny 2 is big. They're going to shrink it because of the DCV and all these other changes to about 59 to 71 gigs, depending on your platform. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a very, very good change for them.
If the 71 gig is the next gen install, so 4K or even 1440p plus 60 FPS, if all that is 71 gig, it's 108 gig at the moment. So it's still 37 gig less than what it is right now on Xbox.
Yep.
So that's a game or two,
Yeah.
It's a smaller indie game.
It's fantastic change. We hope to use these much faster builds to accomplish two things: help us ship mission-critical fixes faster when game-breaking bugs arise, reduce our overall ship pipeline depth, enabling us to work on Destiny releases closer to their ship date so we can react to fresher information about what's happening in the live game. For example, historically, each of our seasons has had to get deep into production before the preceding season launched, preventing us from reacting to learnings from that preceding season. This should give them 1 to 2 more weeks of flexibility to make changes for the seasonal content before it comes out, so they don't have to deal with our complaints into the next season. This gives them more time to make some changes to the season they're working on so that it can fix some things from the previous season quicker, basically.
Yeah.
It's a good change. Here's a big one that people are going crazy about. So let's read this to better explain it, because I know some people have thought of this in a different way. We rebuilt our character face system. We know that how your Guardians look is important to you. Yes. And we've long wanted to add more player customization to Destiny. Our original system for player faces had some combinatoric content authoring problems. For example, every decal had to be authored completely custom for each player face permutation. That sounds awful. This prevented us from extending this area of the game with more content and features. We've upgraded to a significantly more capable system, which we hope to leverage for more player customization options in the future. As part of this process, we reviewed the existing player models with our diversity committee and employee resource groups. No idea what that makes, what that is, but I'm sure it helps.
Diversity committee will be, with work, I'm on the diversity and inclusion team, and it'll be more diverse. So you look different to I look, skin tone, complexion,
facial hair, maybe.
Yeah, bone structure, all that kind of stuff. So instead of it looking like generic white guy with blue skin, it will look different to be diverse. So it's good that they're doing that they are seeking it out. It stands with the message that Bungie's done this year about equality and Black Lives Matter, and everything that's been going on. So that's really good.
That's really awesome. We're also building a list of Guardian face shapes we should bring to the game in the future in order to increase Guardian diversity in Destiny, with the long-term goal of enabling everyone to imagine themselves as a Guardian. Basically, well, you might notice your Guardian's face may look a bit different. Now, correction to the community. They did not say that we can just go into the game and change our face. They said they're changing the way they look, but they didn't, and they're looking into making changes to how they look, make it more detailed, but they didn't say there's going to be a place on the tower where you can go and change your face. They didn't say that. Now, I'm not saying that they're not doing that, but they didn't say they were doing that. Yeah. In the TWAB, at least. I don't know what any of the community had said on Twitter, but in the TWAB, they did not say that. That doesn't mean it's not coming eventually, but that's not what they said. So don't go jumping the gun and saying, oh, Destiny's going to let us change our Guardian. That's not what they said. They said that they're basically improving the graphics for that set thing.
Do you want them to be able to do that, though? Do you want them to add that?
Yes, I do want that, because I don't think it makes sense that Division in Division 1 brought in a feature where you can do that, and then Division 2 was built with that. There's a place where there's a mirror. You can change the way your character's facial hair is, or their hair, or their tattoos, or their facial markings and scars and stuff. You can do that. You can't change your gender or anything, but you can make changes. So Destiny desperately needs that, because I've been wanting to change my Exo's face forever, and I can't. Now, in this universe, would it be awesome to be able to change your race or gender at least? Yeah, I think that'd be awesome. And I think for Exos, for one, it would make total sense. They're freaking robots. Mm-hmm. However, maybe Bungie wouldn't want to do that, and that's fine. Whatever. I think it'd be cool to be able to pay, at least, like a fee to change your race or gender. I think it should be free to change your face and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's like good. Yeah.
But maybe $5 to change your race and gender.
Silver. Spend silver on it, can't you?
Silver. $5 worth of silver to change your race and gender, I think would be cool, and it would make Bungie some money. Because I know I would love to make my hunter a female Exo, but I don't want to make a whole new character. I really don't. So, but that's not what they said, people. So let's remember. And there's a couple weeks still. We'll see what they say. But that is a great change. That's a fantastic change.
Well,
So
I think it's the in one of the Forsaken missions after spoilers after Kate's killed and you speak for the first time. Um,
yeah,
I've got an Ecto, so I looked all right. But I've seen some gameplay of other people that are human or awoken, and they just look bad.
yeah,
They look bad.
they
Same
look
with the ending of Shadowkeep.
Oh God.
When you see yourself
Yep.
again as an Exo, looks fine. But if you're any other race, it just looks so bad, and it shows that the engine never got a
Aged
true
correctly.
never got a true revamp
Yeah.
in those areas because as they said that they weren't able to do it. So
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
yeah,
The other races
Will do.
aged really badly.
Yeah.
And you're my man. Exos are the way to go because they never look bad. And also, again, I'm going to say this: make our guardians talk more, please.
Hopefully they will in this. You know,
I-
we had bits in Forsaken. We had bits in Shadowkeep. Well, it's mainly the darkness speaking to us through us. But yeah,
our guardians need to talk more, and I just still think there should be dialogue trees in the tower. And when you're talking to NPCs, there should be dialogue trees. Now, I'm not saying it has to be on Mass Effect levels, but being able to have a conversation with NPCs, that just changes the game in such a positive way. It makes you really feel like you're in this world. And I'm sorry, I don't like silent protagonists. Master Chief says more than us in Halo 1 alone. That's a big problem, especially for a company that got famous for Halo.
and
We need personalities.
we do, and the EXO voice
It's so good, so good.
It does sound like Steve Downes. It's not Steve Downes, but it sounds like him, which I'm really happy about. So when you do speak, it's good.
I agree. I think the male and female EXO voices are the best of the player voices by far. Plus, I love that robotic sound to it. It's just a little bit, and it sounds so good. And I love that the mouths light up and stuff.
Yep.
And I want to be able to go back to change my EXO's face because I have the faceplate in front. Yeah. I'd like to change it so I can see his eyes, and I want to do like Cade. I want my eyes to be a different color than the mouth. So I want to be able to change that. Hopefully, I get the chance to do that.
I've got the horn. So. I've got the little horn on mine.
But hopefully that can happen.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
And then the final part is we relit portions of EDZ and Nessus. During the early stages of Beyond Light production, the Lighting and Skies teams had a desire to provide a visual refresh to the two remaining D2 Year 1 destinations, EDZ and Nessus, as they enter their fourth year in rotation, because I think everything else from D2 Year 1 is leaving. Yeah. To that end, the teams performed relights and global lighting updates. What you might notice, different lighting on existing destinations. The changes are intentional and are meant to bring the visual quality of these spaces up to our current lighting standards while providing a fresh coat of paint for some of our Year 1 locations. We hope you enjoyed these updates to some familiar locations when you explore EDZ and Nessus this November.
Yeah.
So these are some great changes. This sounds great. I wish they could better explain it to us. Like, maybe like I don't, well, obviously not a screenshot because they're not going to have a screenshot yet. I wish they could kind of give us like a visual representation of what they mean. But it sounds great. It's a small change, but it's going to be great. It's going to look hopefully next gen. Yeah, definitely super excited. It sounds really, really good. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so improved lighting is always good because it can be the difference between literally night and day. But that screenshot we saw earlier on the map where they look quite flat. Also, they're in the snow, it's dark, but there will be some sort of global lighting which will make them look more like they're there. So it will be good, definitely. And there's some areas on EDZ where you ride around and some buildings you go inside and it's just all shadow. But there's no way that that entire inside that building will be all shadow. There'll be some sort of global illumination source. So hopefully they'll do that. And I was just trying to look and I couldn't see. I don't know if there's going to be any RTX support for next gen. Because if there is, then that'll be even a whole nother level of shadows and lighting. So, but it's exciting. And hopefully, if this is successful, they can work it into the DCV content when that comes back around in a year or so. Because I think Mars would look Mars. Mars is going away, isn't it? Yeah, Mars would look amazing with really good lighting because of the orange hue that it's got everywhere. Would definitely be a location that would be. It's got good vistas and stuff anyway, but it would be next level if it had really good lighting. So.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And
Bob.
I definitely think that this will be a good thing. It's not going to be the biggest change, but anything that helps improve the environment, in my opinion, in the game is awesome. It makes me feel like I'm there. And definitely these really needed a change to keep up with the next gen. So this is basically something that, I would have thought should have happened,
Yeah. But it's also like they're changing a lot of engines and stuff. And for all we know, this is because there was talk and rumors of them working with Microsoft to bring Destiny over to the Slipstream engine. So
is that confirmed?
It was just talks and rumors. So right. This could be maybe they've not been successful in doing that, but what they've learned is they can get more out of this engine.
Yeah.
So working with engineers on Slipspace, they might have gone, actually, you can do this, or now you're saving up space here, or you're doing this, you'll be able to get more out of it. But it does need the game will need some sort of big refresh anyway. Maybe after the next 3 expansions. Yeah, it can only look this way for so long. So
yeah,
doesn't need a completely new engine. It just needs rebuilding. Look at Call of Duty, for example. That ran on the same engine for a better part of a decade, and still managed to look good. So
yeah, I agree with you.
So we shall see.
If the rumor is true, Slipspace, that'll be great for this game. That would be amazing. This game needs an engine refresh. Like, if there's anything this game needs, yes, anti-cheat, but before anti-cheat, engine refresh. This game really needs an engine refresh. Like, it's aging so poorly. Like we saw in that screenshot, that's an engine problem, like big time.
Yeah.
So that really needs a change, because I'm sorry, I love this game, and I know graphics aren't the most important thing, but for me, it's definitely super important. Like, the game, if it's a next-gen game, and it is, it's becoming a next-gen game. It's morphing. It needs to be on par. It needs to be on par. So I agree with you, and I hope that rumor's true. But, overall, it's a really, really good TWAB, really good information.
Yeah, it's strong. A lot to pull out of it.
Yeah, but I definitely think that community members and streamers definitely jumped the gun a bit, and they definitely put in their own theories a little bit too much, getting people excited for something that's not confirmed yet. So be excited for these changes, but know what these changes really are. Don't get the wrong idea unless Deej and all them tell you.
Yeah. Or it's a big insider. There are some content creators that do know stuff, and they are privy to it. But if it's if it's random man 123 says that he knows this is happening in Destiny, take it at face value. Grain of salt and stuff. Don't look beyond what's written in official words. So.
Yeah. So, but overall, great TWAB, really good information. Definitely excited for these changes, and we've said what we're hoping for Europa and Beyond Light. We said how we feel about it, and we've already talked about Stasis and all that. I did see a screenshot of the guns that we're getting on Europa. Oh, I don't have it anymore, but the planetary weapons, sidearm, whatever, rocket launcher. Cool. I hope rocket launchers get a buff, because I really, really like rocket launchers. So I hope it gets a buff because it looks awesome. Auto rifle looks cool, but the shotgun looks great. But the pulse rifle, I love pulse rifles. So
was there a sword or anything?
I didn't see a sword, but we don't know what the two new exotics are yet. And I don't want to get teased too early about them, but maybe one of them's a sword. Who knows?
I like sword.
I love swords a lot, but I definitely so excited for this for the No Time to Explain to come back. It's my favorite exotic. And confirmation, peoples. My guy building me the life-size functioning version of it, he just got the pieces. So he's going to start putting it together and painting it and all that stuff. So super stoked for that. And when it's done, I'll definitely post it on Twitter and put it in the podcast and all that. But really excited for that. But other than that, John, is there anything you wanted to talk about to close this out?
No, man. We managed to condense it in nicely. Just two of us. It's good.
Yeah, the listeners have spoken. I'm going to try to keep each episode to about an hour and a half, maybe even shorter, depending on what there is to talk about. I definitely don't want to extend it. Like, I don't want to extend it if there's nothing enough to extend it, So we're definitely going to do a better job of stopping the digressions so much. Like, we definitely want to digress because people like that, but I don't want to get off track. So we're definitely making these changes for the podcast to improve its quality and to improve the listening for everyone involved, and for everyone involved to not have to spend so much time on it. But I definitely want you guys to be able to listen to this while you're playing Destiny, or you're doing an errand or cooking or something. I want you guys to be able to listen to this in a good amount of time without feeling like, oh, there's still another hour. Like, this isn't Joe Rogan. Like, we're not having a very intellectual conversation about all kinds of things, and maybe we have multiple guests, but hour and a half I think is fair. And listeners, after this episode, tweet at me and let me know what you think about the video portion. I know it's not the best yet. I'm still learning. But if you're interested in me maybe getting a piece of artwork done of all of us as Guardians, and maybe the audio plays over that, or do you want to see gameplay? I know we're looking into streaming an episode. Like, maybe we're playing Gambit, all of us together, and like also doing the podcast. Like, we're looking into doing that. I'm setting up my streaming stuff soon for that. But let me know what you think. Tweet at us. We definitely want to know your opinions.
I think next time they do Triple Infamy, we should do it.
We should definitely do it. Triple Infamy.
There'll probably be another Triple Infamy before the expansion drops. Really,
we should definitely do it if they do it during the Halloween event. We should definitely. That'd be really fun.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, I'll wear something or whatever. But that'll be really fun. And just let us know what you think, listeners. Really, tweet at us. Let us know. We're definitely always open to your suggestions. And if there's any topics you want us to cover next this upcoming week, let us know and we'll cover them. If you have any questions, tweet at us and we'll answer them on the episode, the next episode. So John's going to be more frequent on here. Really excited for that. He's a great co-host. So that's all we had to talk about today. But thanks for listening. And John, where can we find you?
So Protofo on Twitter and Instagram. So PROTOFOE. On Twitter and Instagram. And then I'll be from October, I'll be streaming and putting out more content. So we'll go over that in the future.
Fantastic. And you can find me on Twitter @Prophet17 and on Instagram @DimitriOtto4. We're always open to your suggestions, so we're open books. Just let us know, people. And if you want any special people on the cast, reach out to them. Tell them about the cast. Don't bug them. Come on, let's get some people on here, guys. I'm going to look into some guests that we haven't had on before. And thanks for listening. This is the Destiny Corner podcast. Have a fantastic week.
Take care, everybody.